You're listening to 50 Pirates in 50 Days on the Sports Objective Podcast. A new era of East Carolina football is here and will begin on August 31st when Mike Houston leads the Pirates into action at NC State. Between now and then, join us for a daily trip down memory lane as we experience Pirate football through the words of the men who made those memorable moments happen. Here's your host, Bubba Rosenbaum.
Well, as our 50 Pirates in 50 Days roll on, I tell you what, guys, we're very excited to have our next guest, one of our favorites, back on with us.
Absolutely, Dave. East Carolina Hall of Famer, a Pro Bowler with the New England Patriots, and also he's a regular on Pirate Radio. Tony Collins. Tony, welcome in.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. Right out of the gate, I got to ask you, what do you think about the Hall of Famers announced this week? My gosh, a great class coming in for next year.
I think it's fantastic, and Junior Smith is a really good friend of mine. We play golf all the time together, and I actually nominated him last year, and he's actually the leading rusher for East Carolina. He's the man.
Yeah.
And so he should have been in probably like 2 or 3 years ago, but very, very happy for him, man, and really excited for what's going on in his life.
Well, tell him to come on the podcast. We would love to have him.
I'll definitely do that. Right now, he's in Mexico.
Okay.
He's going to Mexico.
He's on vacation.
He's having a beer. Hey, Kyle, he's having a beer for you in Mexico.
I tell you, tell him don't leave the resort. I don't know if you heard the other day.
I know.
Got murdered.
Yeah, he's down there playing golf.
Okay, all right.
Sounds good to me. We'll have
he's
him
pretty fast. If the cartel comes after him, he might be able to outrun him.
Tony's pretty fast too, still these days.
Well, guys, awkward silence there in the podcast.
I've been having a fantastic time. I'm in Charlotte right now visiting my granddaughter, and so I've been having a fantastic time visiting all my grandkids.
How many grandkids you got, Tony?
I have 10.
You got 10 grandkids?
I have 10 grandkids.
You look like you're in your 40s.
I just turned 60 this year, a couple months ago.
Man.
And so, I'm just enjoying life, playing a lot of golf. Still having some racing going on upstate New York, and I have my tournament August 26th, so real excited about that too. But
Where's your tournament? Tell us about the tournament. Where's that at?
It's in upstate New York where I grew up at. I grew up in a little small town outside of Rochester, about 50 miles south of Rochester, a little small town on the lake, and grew up there. And so I do I've been doing that now for almost 11, 12 years, I think it is. But
what is is it for a certain?
We raise money for the students. We send kids off to college. That's what we're doing up there for that. So we're having a real successful time going up there. And, it's nothing like giving back to your hometown, and that's what it's all about, giving back.
That's fantastic. Do you have celebrities come play?
I actually do. I have a lot of my Patriot buddies come down and play in the tournament. So, man, we have a real good time every year.
Do you have TB12 coming?
Who? No.
Tom Brady, Belichick.
Look, have you invited the biggest celebrity of all, your former teammate Terry Gallagher to your celebrity golf tournament?
Yeah, he's carrying Tony's bags, man.
Yeah,
he's a caddy.
He's talking about celebrity.
Now Terry is a celebrity in his own mind.
What about HV3? He's a heck of a guy. I mean, it's not like he's doing anything right now, playing on the PGA Tour, right?
I know, right?
You mentioned. Go ahead.
It's usually guys that I play with: Roland James, Ronnie LePet, and Irvin Fryer, Stanley Morgan. Those guys that I bring in all the time.
So the Super Bowl team.
Oh man, yeah.
You mentioned growing up around Rochester, New York. Tell us about your path to East Carolina. How did you end up in Greenville?
Oh man, as a senior, you get 5 official visits, and so my 4th visit was to University of Florida, And so, but you got to get the whole picture. The whole picture was, I'm from a family of 16, and I was number 15, and so we never flew on a plane. I'd never been on an airplane before, and so I got opportunity to go down to the University of Florida. They flew me down, and I think I was more excited about getting on the plane than visiting the school. And so went down there and visited the school. I can't remember who the coach was. It's in '77, so I can't remember who the coach was. But when I got down there, it was fantastic. Their colors were orange and blue. My high school colors were orange and blue. The coach did tell me, they had a couple of running backs that were already there, junior and a senior, and they said they might redshirt me my freshman year. So that wasn't a big issue. But I loved it, man. It was fantastic. And so I get back home, and I get a call from East Carolina University. I never heard of East Carolina University before. And so Pat Dye gets on the phone. He talks to me. He said, "We want you to come down for a visit." My first question to him was, "Are you guys going to fly me?" And he said, "Yeah, we're going to fly you." And so I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to get on the airplane again." So
you like the free peanuts that much? I mean,
the crazy part about that, man, back then, this is '77. Back then, you could actually smoke on the plane.
Oh, okay. So you were smoking on the way down?
No.
I know what it was. I know what it does.
They had a section where there were the non-smokers and the smokers. You know what I mean? So
Tony, but I know what it was. You were
smokers were in the back of the plane, right?
Right.
In the back. I remember that.
This is really what it was. Tony was a good-looking, strapping, strong, young black man, and he got on that plane in the Mile High Club by some stewardess.
Whatever, man. I was too young for that. It was all football then.
You were what?
It was all football then.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, man, and so I got down to East Carolina, man, and I had no intentions of going to East Carolina, none at all. I mean, I was going to Florida. I just wanted to go for the trip, and I got down there and met with Pat Dye and took me to Parker's right there on Memorial Drive. The same Parker's that's still there. Took me there and sat me down and we ate, and he said, "Son, if you come here, you'll get an opportunity to play, and you get an opportunity to play in the NFL." And when he said that, I was like, "Man, I need to come to East Carolina." And I get back to my little hotel where I was at, and call my mom and my dad and tell them, I don't want to go to Florida anymore. I want to go to East Carolina. Man, they thought I was crazy. I was like, "Are you serious right now?" My dad goes, "I heard of North Carolina and I heard of South Carolina, but where in the hell is East Carolina?" So, but that's how I got to East Carolina, man. That was it. Pat Dye was the reason I came to East Carolina.
That's after the three letters NFL.
Yep, NFL. Yep.
The National Football League, and you had a nice career. You're Hall of Famer East Carolina. As far as can you talk about the what kind of recruiting techniques as far as when they have like the official visit? You were talking about the hotel. Do they have like the other players or take you around the clubs down Fifth Street, or what is it? I mean, what do they do?
Actually, Ruffin McNeil was my host.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Ruff was my host, and Ruffin showed me around, and we had a good time. Took me to a party down on campus, and I had a great time. But I was like, I ain't coming. I'm not coming to East Carolina until I met with Pat Dye that next day. And man, I was sold after he told me that. Yeah, I had a great time on the visit. I mean, all the visits were a great time. When you leaving home and you go to parties and you see the different things that you've never seen before.
Well, how was it? How was it for you? Just in terms of adjusting once you moved down here, it has to be a big culture shock coming from Rochester, New York, to Greenville, North Carolina.
It was, man. It was, as a freshman, my freshman year, I get down here, man. People, all the guys are kind of dogging me because I'm from New York, and nothing but basketball players come from New York, so they were on me pretty good. Harold Randolph and Harold Ford, those two linebackers, and a lot of the guys, they're just like, man, you from New York, you can't play no football. And so, I had to prove to them. And my first day practice, the humidity, I threw up a couple times, but I didn't let them know that I was hurting that bad because I had to tough it out. But the humidity was a totally different thing. It was tougher coming from high school to college than it was from college to the pros. For me, it was as far as the conditioning and getting used to. Now everybody's fast, because when in high school, you're running by people in high school, but now once you get to college, everybody's fast, and so it was my freshman year. I didn't start my freshman year. I played some, but I didn't start. But got to be in the backfield with Eddie Hicks and Sam Harrell and Theodore Sutton. Man, I think it was my junior year. We led the nation in rushing. I was averaging like 7.7 yards a carry. I never carried the ball over. I've never carried the ball over 20 times a game. I think the most I've ever carried was probably like 15 because we had so many great backs. Eddie Hicks was outstanding. Theodore Sutton was a beast. And so we would all get maybe 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 carries a game. I think the most I had was probably like 15. I know I had one game that I had like 7 carries for 137 yards.
Yeah,
wow.
A little bit more about that season, that 79 season that Tony's talking about. He had 154 carries for 1130 and then 14 touchdowns. And then, like you said, over 7 yards per carry. And that ranks right there near the top all time. I know Leonard Henry in 2001 had just a remarkable year, 7.8 yards per carry. I don't know why we didn't run him more. And then way back in
Marshall in the GMAC Bowl, you mean?
Yeah. Then way back in the 60s, the guy by the name of Glenn Bass had 8.3 yards per carry. So that was one of the things that really jumped out. That 7.3 was pretty remarkable.
Tony, you had an opportunity, obviously, to play in the NFL for a number of years and got to be around some great coaches coaching you and against you. How good was Pat Dye? I mean, compared to other coaches you coached or played under, I should say, Pat Dye, went on to Auburn and did great things. But how good was he?
He was like a father figure, man, and he was straight. He was honest. He told you just like it was, and you would, as a player, he's that type of player that you would try to run through a wall for. He's that type of coach that you would try to run through a wall for, and just a great person, a great coach, and he got the most out of you. He was honest. One thing I loved about Pat Dye that he was honest. He let you know how it was, and he get in your face. He didn't care who you were. You mess up, he's gonna get in your face. I mean, you could be the star of the team, and he would get in your face and let you know that you need to do a little bit better. And so I've had a lot of great coaches in my life, and Pat Dye and Raymond Berry are the two that I have to say are the two top coaches that I played for.
Tony, one of the things that comes to mind is your good buddy Terry Gallagher always tells us about that back in the day when we were talking right before we came on with you with Coach Houston today, and the guys are struggling with one-a-days, and you guys, I've heard at one point you had like three ball where there was 4 days. and maybe some of you guys need to go to the practice and say, look, suck it up, Buttercup. We had 4 days, and you got one a day, and you're struggling, and we had 4 days.
All Tony has to do is show them Super Bowl ring.
I don't think they can do that now. I think it's against the law.
It is. It is. But I'm just saying that Joe had it way tougher than they did.
Man, yeah. It was. Man, winter ball was even. People don't know about winter ball. Winter ball starts. We're not playing, but it's winter conditioning. Winter conditioning, man, was like unbelievable hard. That was like in January when we came back from the break. and that was tough. But the training camp, once that summer hit, man, we're running up and down stadium steps, just doing all kinds of stuff, man. I think there was a part where you had to run a mile and you didn't finish the mile. If you didn't finish at your set time, you would have to do stadium steps the next day. So everybody tried to get in shape to get that mile done and get that time in that mile. But yeah, man, it was tough, but it was good. It was good football. But it's against the law now to work guys out hard.
I know. I was just bringing up the point. The reason I brought that up is the fact that people actually, like yourself and the guys, paved the way for the current regime, and certainly players of today. They don't realize how they actually have it way easier. But also the fact that I want to mention the fact one of the common themes on this podcast, the guys can back me up on this, is how the guys that have made it to the NFL talk about all the time about how it was a lot harder in college at East Carolina with the strength and conditioning and all this stuff versus the NFL, where it seemed to be a lot easier for them, and they had a hard time adjusting because they were so used to practice and the strength and conditioning to be way worse than the NFL.
Oh yeah, man. When I got to New England, I was like, man, this is easy. This is a piece of cake. I'm loving this. And but because it was just so much different. And as far as the conditioning work, I mean, as far as and when I got to be honest with you, when I got to New England, we didn't even really have our weight room at New England. My rookie season was probably the worst weight room in the history of sports, and I'm being totally honest with you. It was really bad, and that I think once my second year when they brought in Ron Myers from SMU, they actually did a whole revamp of the weight room. But my rookie season, I was like, what is this? This is the weight room? Because I'm used to benches and everything all over the place and just working out hard, and they had like, trust me, if I would have had a picture, I would love to show you the guys the weight room New England Patriots had my rookie season, and my rookie season we went 2-14. Well, you can imagine.
Tony, something else I wanted to ask you about concerning your time at East Carolina is obviously we've talked about you as a running back, but what about Tony Collins, the kick returner? I know you did that all 4 years, even more your junior and senior year, and then your senior year under Ed Emory, you averaged nearly 27 yards per kickoff return and returned 2 for touchdowns.
Yeah, that was something that I loved doing, man. To try to open up the game for us, I did that in high school, and once I got to East Carolina, that's something that I wanted to do. And I had a great time doing that. I remember my senior year against Florida State. Now we were playing the first time we ever played Florida State, and so we go down there and opening kickoff, and I run it back about 102 yards or whatever, and we're up, man. We're beating Florida State 7-0, man. We're just excited. And the score at the end of the game was 63-7.
Excitement didn't last long.
So my father said, all you did was made them mad.
Hook them up.
But yeah, I really enjoyed returning kicks, and I did it some my rookie season in New England. And once I got the starting job, they kind of took me off the kickoff returns.
And something else, Tony, that really jumped out at me that I didn't realize that you were this good at is receiving the ball out of the backfield, and when I say not good at it, I mean in terms of the just the numbers, just because obviously that wasn't as prevalent back in those days as it is now. And I saw that you had over 2,300 yards receiving and something like 260 receptions with the Patriots.
Yeah, man. Something that at East Carolina, we ran the wishbone, so it wasn't a whole lot of catches coming out of the backfield or a whole lot of passes getting to you. But that's something that I knew I could do in high school. I was caught some passes in high school. And then when I got to the league, I was able to do a little something. I think, what's the running back that's there now? White. He just broke my record. That record that's been standing for I don't know, about 30 some years. As far as I think it was 77 catches I had in one season, and he had like 90 something this past season. I think it was. He just broke that record, and so yeah, I mean that one thing that I wanted to do as a running back was be the complete back. And one thing I learned when I was at East Carolina was how to block, because if in the wishbone, and if you couldn't block, that wasn't going to let you play. And so Eddie Hicks took me under his wings, and he taught me how to cut block, taught me how to block up high. And, because in high school, I ain't never blocked. I was always running the ball. And so learned how to block and took that to the league. And I was what they call an all-around back. I was able to run the ball, I was able to catch it, and able to block as well.
Regarding your time at East Carolina, those first two seasons, you referenced some of the playing time that you got. The backfield was so crowded with the likes of Eddie Hicks and Theodore Sutton, et cetera. But those two seasons, a lot of times you hear the talk about that 1983 team, and rightfully so, how they were 13 points from being undefeated. Well, your freshman year, you guys were something like 9 or 10 points from being undefeated, and then in that 78 team, which we honored in December of the 40th anniversary, you guys were just a few points from being 11-1.
Yeah, we had some ballers, man. On offense and on defense. Leander Green running the option was one of the best at it. Terry Gallagher was outstanding receiver. We had Washington at tight end that could he wasn't big tight end, but he could fly whenever we needed him. But we had some ballers on defense, man. Ruffin played strong safety. Gerald Hall and Zach Ballantyne, and Too Small, Harold Randolph, Harold Ford. Man, those guys were players, man. We had some really good players on defense. We had a great team when Pat Dye was here, and we just didn't get the recognition, I think, as far as some of the teams that we're playing. We played Carolina, we played North Carolina State and Wake Forest, I think it was, Southern Miss, and we just like you said, we were that close to having that a perfect season, but we fell short. But all around, I think as far as skills goes, we had one of the best teams for East Carolina.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And after that 79 season, I know it had to be hard for you going into your senior year. Coach Pat Dye and the administration, they didn't see eye to eye, and he opted to head out to Wyoming. So can you talk?
I cried like a baby.
Yeah.
I'm being totally honest with you, man. I tell you, he brought me into his office and, man, told me he was leaving. I was like, oh, no, that's the only reason I came here. You going to leave my senior year? And it was tough for me, man. It was really tough. It was like losing a father. And then Ed Emory came in. Nothing against Ed. Ed was he was a great coach and a great person. But, when I first met him, I was like, man, this big old fat guy, man.
Wait a minute, Tony. Wait a minute.
I'm just telling you now. That's just how I felt, because I was more mad at mad at Pat Dye for leaving me, and I took it out on Ed Emory.
Gotcha. I don't care. I'm more offended by the fat joke.
No, man. I was pretty bad in the beginning, and then we started winter workout with Ed, and he brought me in and sat me down and talked to me about being the leader of the team and blah 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that, man. I'll do whatever I can to lead the team as much as I can. And we had a tough season our senior year. Then we lost a lot of guys on defense, and Leonard Green was gone on offense as far as our quarterback, but you know we held our own, and we played some good ball. Actually, we played against Florida State, we played against Miami, I think my senior year, and played some tough teams, and that's when we really first getting to Florida States and getting to Miami's and getting the different Division one teams to play against, and I think that was good for us to go that route, to put East Carolina on the map a little bit, because you know we never played Florida State, we never played Miami before or anybody like that. But you know, it was a tough transition for me. But don't get me wrong, by September, I was all in for Ed Emory. You know, I would, you know, I was the leader of the team, and you know, I would do whatever he asked me to do and play as hard as I possibly could play for him, just like I did for Pat Dye. And Ed Emory was a great coach, and he did some great things, man. He had some great ball players. He brought in Ernest Biner. Ernest Biner came in my senior year. And the minute I seen Ernest, man, I think this kid is going to be fantastic as well. And they went on. They had some great teams under Ed Emory when he was coaching here. And man, you know, rest in peace. He was a great guy too.
And in that, I was just going to say, in that 1980 season, you were talking about Florida State. They were ranked 9th when we played them. North Carolina, who we had been playing, they were ranked 7th. Was LT there then?
Yes, he was.
Okay. So I was going to ask you about playing against LT.
You know what? That's the funny thing. Cause LT came in the same time I came in, 77, and I think it was my freshman year or my sophomore year. I'm almost thinking it was my freshman year. When we played North Carolina, I can't remember, but man, LT was not that good. I think my freshman year, because we were putting it to him my freshman year, but his junior and senior year, it was like he was a beast, man. He was an absolute beast, and also I got a chance to play against him in the league, because we both got drafted in the '81 draft. And got a chance to meet him and got a chance to spend some time with him. He's a great guy too, man. Great guy, but crazy guy. And he was, you know, at no doubt probably the best linebacker to play the game on that end.
You talked about Pat Dye leaving and Ed Emory coming in, and mentioned Ruffin McNeil a couple times earlier, and it made me want to ask you. When you talk about, you know, Coach leaving. How did it affect you as a former player when the previous administration, if you want to call them that, fired Ruffin McNeil?
Oh man, you gonna have to go there over here.
I gotta go. Hey, it's all right. They're all gone. All them assholes are gone. We can go there.
You know what, man? It was tough, man. It was really bad. The bad thing was for me, I knew whoever they brought in, it was going to be bad for him, because those players love Coach. You know, I spend a lot of time which coach went to a lot of practices, actually spoke to the guys a few times, and so I got to know some of the players really, really good, and the players love Coach Ruff, and Coach Ruff loved those players, and Coach was like, you know, Ruff was my friend, and so it was really tough to see how they did them and the way they did it. You know, it was pretty bad. So that's the past. But you know, the thing about it, Coach Mo, I never got a chance. You know, I met him. I never got a chance to really get to know him. He's probably a good coach. He's probably a really good person as well. But he came into a situation where it was a no-win situation. There's no way he was going to.
He came in a bad situation, and I think another problem Coach Montgomery had was probably a good X's and O's coach, and I think he's a good recruiter. I don't think Coach Montgomery knew how to run practice.
Right.
I think that was his biggest downfall.
Mm-hmm. And another thing is, sorry, Tony, I was just going to simply say that with Montgomery, usually see like these coaches, like they go up the coaching ladder. I hate to use that cliche, but they go up the coaching ladder. And Mo goes from little coaching experience at Duke and the Steelers, and then all of a sudden he's at East Carolina. And I don't think people realize, as far as previous administration I'm talking about, they don't realize you can't just put a coach in there at East Carolina. It needs to be a Pat Dye. It needs to be a Coach Logan. It needs to be a Skip. It needs to be people that have had head coaching experience, or they have a lot of. Look at Coach Ruff. I mean, he had many years of coaching experience.
A lot of different places. Yeah, what you're trying to say is Montgomery had only been at Duke.
Yeah, and a little bit at the Steelers.
But the biggest thing, guys, is though, you know, he didn't win the players over. It's you got 18, 19-year-old kids where if you don't win those guys over, you got a whole lot of trouble. You got some things that's not going to happen good for you. And that was the thing that I realized. And that was the first thing that I said. If he does not win these players over, it's going to be rough for him. I said that before he coached his first game. And it was rough, man. It was, and you know what? And to be honest with you, and I don't know if this is true or not, I just think they hired Coach Mo just to try to take some of the pressure off of them, just to get somebody in there to because you know.
Go ahead and say it, Tony. I know what you want to say. Go on.
You know what I'm talking about.
You can say it. You can say it.
A lot of people were pissed off, man, that they fired Coach Ruff. A lot of people and they hired Coach Mo because he was black.
Yep.
And that was the reason they hired him. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. And they put that guy in a situation where not win. And you know you see the results. 3-9 for 3 years. You know that's not going to cut it.
No, and now we move forward with Coach Houston, and I think it's going to work out. Him bringing back Donnie Kirkpatrick and Steve Shankweiler and people who know East Carolina football, and Mike Houston's kind of got that. You know, he's like Dave mentioned. He's got head coaching experience. You met him, Tony, at the Independence Bowl celebration, and I don't know if you've talked to him since then or not. But
I have.
Yeah, and I think he's going to turn it around.
He's a winner, man, and that's what we needed, man. He's a winner, and so I'm excited about this season, man. I've already predicted that we're going to go to a bowl game this year, so I already
guarantee. What kind of guarantee did you get?
I already guaranteed it, man.
What do you got to do if we don't make it to a bowl?
I'm running
butt naked.
You know what I do, butt naked.
Butt naked, Tony Collins.
But yeah, I'm excited about this season, man, because I think we have an opportunity to beat North Carolina State. I really do.
Yes, we do.
I think we have an opportunity. They lost their quarterback. They lost a couple of receivers and
running backs.
Yeah, so we got an opportunity to go up there and shock the world, man, and I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see what happens. And if you look at our schedule, we have a schedule that we can win 7 games, man. If we play the way we should play and up to our capability, and I think Coach Houston will get the best out of these guys. And he's gonna turn it around. I'm really confident in that. And it may not happen this year, but it's going to happen with him because he's a winner.
How many wins did you say, Tony?
7.
What was it? 7?
7 and 5.
Somebody else said that on the podcast, Kyle.
7 and 5.
Congratulations, Dave. Tony, now, if we lose to Gardner-Webb, should we just drop football at that point?
Yeah.
I mean, after A&T at least A&T, has been undefeated the previous year. If we lose to Gardner-Webb, man, I think it's just time to concentrate on baseball.
Yeah. We just wipe out the whole football season, man. If we lose to Gardner-Webb, we don't need football at East Carolina.
Oh my God! Please don't bring that into fruition. Oh my God!
I know, man. That's not gonna happen.
Losing to James Madison.
Yeah, I was waiting for Tony to bring up Elon.
We won't lose to Gardner-Webb, man. That's an easy guarantee right there.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
After the last couple of years, Tony, I wouldn't do that for William and Mary just yet.
Can you imagine the fifth quarter or post game?
Oh my God! Oh my God! No, that's not even. We can't even bring that up, man. That's not.
I tell you what, I don't know what's going to happen at NC State, but I would imagine week number 2, first game down at Pickle Stadium, Mike Houston. I'd be surprised if Gardner Webb's in that game after the first quarter.
Yeah. And you know, even win or lose against North Carolina State, if we play well, and people are excited, people are going to be excited anyway. I think the fans are going to be back, and that home game that we have with Gardner Webb, I think the stadium will be packed, man. Looking for that victory.
And Tony, there's a chance, Tony, that in the first 5 games, we could have more wins than Scotty Montgomery ever had in his tenure in the season. There's a chance. There's a real chance.
I know. You're absolutely right. We can win 4 games. We can win 4 games in that month.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, Gardner Webb, William and Mary, to be sure.
Oh my God.
You would hope we're gonna win both of those. And then at Old Dominion ain't as easy as it sounds. But it's a game we should win.
But that's a game we'll win too. We're gonna be Old Dominion.
Well, I'm telling you, everybody keeps acting like that's a guaranteed win, man. We barely beat them both times they came to Greenville, and one of those years we had Shane Carter, Rusty McNeil, and Justin Hardy.
They have great athletes, but I still think we can beat them by a touchdown or 10 points. But we're not going to blow them out.
No, we won't blow them out, but we can beat Old Dominion.
And then you got the Naval Academy, who was terrible last year, but Coach Ken Miyamatolona is a heck of a coach, and I just don't see them being bad 2 years in a row. And we got to go play up there. Historically, we're terrible against Navy, but there's something about that game that doesn't intrigue me. And that's Coach Mike Houston as a defensive-minded coach who ran the triple option at the Citadel and Lenore Ryan. Yep. So that's
when you run it, you absolutely know how to stop it too. So that's one of the games that I have us in the maybe file, beating Navy.
Me too.
Yeah. It depends on which Navy we get, right?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
What if it's Navy the U.S. Navy? I do like Mike Houston's background playing Navy. I think that bodes well.
And the Temple game is one of Tony, the Thursday night game. We owe them. Even that speaking of Shane Carden, that game where we had the fumbles and all there, and it was raining up. We were ranked at the time. What was it, 2014? Oh my gosh, like that. And we just, I don't know. They've had our number here recently. We owe them. We owe Temple. That's a huge game for us.
Even if we go 6-6 this year, it's a big plus for us, man. It's a big plus. But if we go 7-5 and go to a bowl game, man, the people in Pirate Nation will be off the chain, man. We'll be back, and that's what it's all about. These last few years, man, it was tough going to games, man. There were games, and I really don't like saying this. There were home games that I said I don't want to go to it, and if it was raining, I'm definitely not going.
Me too.
So, you went to the tailgate bar, right?
You got to go to tailgate, but that's bad, man. It's a home game, and you're not going to go to a home game. You're right there in town. That's when it gets bad.
And what got even worse, it got to the point, Tony, for some of us, where it wasn't even I don't want to go to the game. It was almost out of protest that some of us didn't go at times. And it's just good to be able to have optimism towards the football season. I feel good about the head coach and feel good about the administration and the people that are running the university and the athletic department.
Yeah, man, we kind of clean house, and that's something I think we needed to do, and so a lot of people are excited about it, and I'm looking forward to the North Carolina State game.
Tony, I was going to say that I tell the story all the time. I was at that Tulane game that Kyle was at home, and he was probably smart because it was so cold outside, and then for being Greenville. And in the fourth quarter, I was like shivering, right? And we have a chance to win the game. We go to overtime and then lose it. It's like starting to drop down. And the funny thing is, there was more people at that home game with D.H. Conley with the Holt Nailers the Friday night than it was a Saturday night. I'm not kidding. It was only the bud in the seats. I think it was like 12 or 13,000 at Dowdy. I'm like, what is going on?
Wow.
And no
that
atmosphere.
night, it was cold. That was year number 2 under Scotty Montgomery. I was already on my. I'm not going to these last couple home games. We had to fire him, and
they didn't.
No, they didn't. They gave him another year and see where it put us. But anyway, that's all in the past now.
Good to be, yeah.
All behind us. It's all behind us.
So, Tony, is there any words of knowledge you would like to impart, whatever, to
impart.
Impart? Okay, that's the word we're looking for.
Impart. No, I just think we should be as a Pirate Nation, man. One thing that it's been tough for these last 3 years. And it's been like, okay, we're not going to win this game. We're not going to win this game. We're not going to win this game. But I think one of the things, getting to meet Coach Houston and getting to meet his coaching staff, and with the whole new administration that we got in, so now we get everybody being positive, and that's something about when you get a lot of people being positive, thinking the same thing. Man, positive things is going to happen. And one thing that, I want the fans to be is, be optimistic. I know it's been a tough 3 years, but now we have an opportunity at East Carolina, and that's something that I'm really proud to say. And when people ask me where I went to school at, man, I'm proud to say, man, I'm a Pirate. I'm an East Carolina Pirate. And I think if we start believing, and the fans start believing, the players are believing, the coaches are believing, we're going to be 7-5. We're going to be bowling next year, baby.
Oh my gosh, that's what my prediction is, and if that does come true, that is going to be a huge weight off Pirate Nation, the shoulders, and it's a big difference of having a winner. And I always tell people, Tony, you're only no matter what organization, you're only good as the top. Everybody talks about you're only good as the weakest link. I always say you're only good at the top, and you look at Mike Houston. I saw John Gilbert out at practice today and Ryan Robinson, and it's a breath of fresh air. It's not it used to be the people in the Ward building were scared, certainly because of the previous administration, and now what a breath of fresh air to have the top being John Gilbert and Ryan Robinson, all those guys now in versus what we had before.
Yep, man. So, like I say, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited. So we got 2 or 3 more weeks left to see what it's all about, man. So
and it will be here Labor Day weekend. Yep. Tony, thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate it. You're one of the all-time greats, and can't wait to hear you on Pirate Radio this season and keep Troy in them straight.
Yes, sir.
We know it's hard to do.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. You guys do a great job, man. I appreciate you guys supporting us like you do, and man, you guys keep up the good work as well.
That concludes this edition of 50 Pirates in 50 Days on the Sports Objective. Remember, join us daily between now and game day as we'll talk Pirate football with players from various eras. All these interviews are available exclusively on SoundCloud and our YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe and follow so you're alerted when we post new content. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, go Pirates!